Imagine the lights over the world's major financial capitals starting to flicker and die, block by block, until everything goes dark. We are currently closer to this reality than at any point in modern history. The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists has moved their official estimate to just 82 seconds to midnight. On February 5, 2026, the New START Treaty expired. New START was the final bilateral agreement capping the deployment of American and Russian strategic nuclear warheads. With that agreement gone, the last formal diplomatic circuit breakers between rival superpowers have been removed. We are operating in a completely unregulated nuclear environment. Simultaneously, U.S. Central Command is executing a massive kinetic campaign in the Middle East. Since the February 28 invasion began, the United States has launched over 9,000 strikes on Iranian targets. Those thousands of strikes have successfully resulted in the complete decapitation of Iran's supreme leadership. A regional power lacking a central command structure, combined with the total absence of global nuclear regulation, has created an incredibly volatile geopolitical vacuum. The immediate catalyst for the next stage of escalation is a direct U.S. threat to target Iranian civilian power grids. President Trump has issued a 5-day pause on these infrastructure strikes. This window closes on March 28th, and avoiding the strikes is entirely contingent on Iran fully opening the Strait of Hormuz to maritime traffic. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, the country's primary military and intelligence branch, has completely denied that any negotiations are taking place. Instead, the remaining IRGC command has articulated a strict tit-for-tat doctrine, stating directly, "If you hit electricity, we hit electricity." Iran is not acting in isolation. Russia operates as a force multiplier, feeding forces real-time satellite intelligence on U.S. ship movements. China is a strategic mediator, supplying missile and radar tech while securing safe tanker passage. The United States is facing a heavily subsidized proxy force backed by rival superpowers. This active support from Moscow and Beijing elevates a localized blockade into a global standoff. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, a secondary front is opening around a Russian-flagged tanker named the Anatoly Kolodkin. This vessel is carrying 730,000 barrels of oil and is expected to reach the port of Matanzas, Cuba, by late March or early April. Delivering this specific shipment is a deliberate challenge to the ongoing United States energy blockade of Cuba. U.S. Southern Command identified this sanctioned tanker is not traveling alone. It is being actively escorted by a Russian destroyer and a replenishment ship. In response, the U.S. Navy has deployed its own assets, including a destroyer and a littoral combat ship, to track the Russian flotilla as it moves through the Caribbean. This deployment is a calculated tripwire. Moscow is forcing the U.S. to divert critical naval resources away from the Persian Gulf, splitting American focus across an unmanageable two-front maritime crisis. This chart shows the automated sequence if Iran fails to open the Strait of Hormuz by March 28th. The U.S. executes grid-down strikes on Iranian power plants. Iran immediately retaliates against Saudi and UAE grids, prompting Russia to supply Iranian remnants with hypersonic weapons. This specific chart projects the immediate economic reaction to that sequence. Global energy markets will face extreme volatility, with oil prices rapidly breaching $150 per barrel. If the U.S. Navy attempts to board the Anatoly Kolodkin in the Caribbean, Moscow will treat the interdiction as piracy, sparking a direct naval confrontation. With 72 hours remaining, an inflexible Gulf ultimatum, a Cuban naval tripwire, and absent nuclear safeguards have converged, pushing the global threat level to critical.